Folks, so today we'll be talking on a subject, the things that you won't hear from your pastor, things your pastor won't tell you. I've had a few discussions in the last few days and weeks with some friends, some leaders within the church milieu, and one thing that came to mind that I picked up during this time of discussion is the necessity of asking questions. The necessity of asking questions. It's very important as Christians to ask questions. And why do I say this? If you look at the book of Matthew, from Matthew 24, 25, and 26, Jesus elaborates on the end time and gives details about how the end shall be. But why did this come to pass? It is because in Matthew 24, verse 3, the disciples asked him a question. They asked, Master, when shall these things be? When shall this thing be? When shall it be? You see, a question is a prompter. I call a question a prompter, something that evokes discussion, it evokes reflection, something that prompts someone to dig a little bit deeper. And this is what was pivotal for us to have the scriptures, Matthew 24, 25, and a part of 26. When Christians don't ask questions, we forget, we lose sight of the details. We lose the opportunity to have details that we ought to have. When Mary, in Luke chapter 1, Mary, the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary and gave him this elaborate discussion around she's holy, she's the chosen one of God, she'll bear the Son of God. Mary asked one question. How can these things be, seeing that I'm a virgin, seeing that I don't know a man? Questions are important because they set as the key to the door of revelation. There are many things we have to know or we ought to know, but we don't know because we don't ask questions. And this is not a blame game issue. The system has been set like that. We go to church, about 80 to 95% of Christians go to church from Sunday to Sunday. They don't go during the week where there's opportunity for more interaction, more limited interaction, I should say. We only go on Sundays. On Sundays, you go there, the service is organized such that it is fast. You don't have opportunity to ask questions. Even if the preacher preaches a sound message and you have a question, you take it back with you. You don't have, the system is set up such that we cannot ask questions on Sundays. And so you have folks who are brought up in a system where it is dogmatic, so to say. All we do is to drink. We can't regurgitate. We can't, curiosity is not aroused. And again, I'm not blaming pastors, I'm not blaming whoever, I'm just saying this is the system, this is the way it is. It's been like that for eons. And so we as Christians grow without asking questions. Even God, in Isaiah chapter 1, I was reading it a moment ago, Isaiah chapter 1, 18, it says, come, let us reason together. God encourages us to come and reason with him. You see, questions are prompters. Questions open the door to revelation. There are many of us Christians out in the world, we used to ask questions. We were very curious. And even now, we are still curious. But when it comes to the matters of God, we don't ask questions. And let me tell you, one important reason of asking questions now in our age, there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of deception. This is true I'm originally African, from the African continent. This is true in Africa, it's true in America, it's true wherever you are. If you're a Christian affiliated with a body, there is potential for deception. If you don't ask questions, you will not know. And trust me, I've been a part of the movement for a little while. Trust me, questions arouse curiosity, questions arouse interest, Questions also reveal to your leader that you're interested in what they're doing. If you don't ask questions, no one will know what your doubts are. Of course, there are questions that are meant to sow doubt. The enemy came to Eve and said, did God really say this? Has God really said it? So that's a question that is meant to sow doubt. I'm not talking about that. Or the fellow in 2 Kings, is 2 Kings 6 and 7, who said, even if God will open windows in heaven, shall this thing be? That is a question of doubt. That is saying it is impossible. God cannot do it. This is not the kind of question we're talking about. We're talking here about just a question that demands or is requiring or a request for more. The disciples of Jesus, they saw the fruit that Jesus manifested. They saw the fruit that Jesus manifested, compared it to their fruits, and they realized that, look, we are not like him, he's different. And so they got to him at some point and said, Master, teach us how to pray. Because they knew that the difference between them and the master was prayer. And so they went to him and said, teach us how to pray. It may not be a question, but it's a prompter for more. You see, when I use the word questions here, it's just it's a better way of saying that we need to prompt. We need to ask for more. Ask when we don't know. Ask when we see contradictions. If my pastor is saying I have to be holy, and he himself, I find him living an unholy life, instead of saying that, well, they are men of God, they are subject to like passions. No, ask questions. Questions will reveal deception. Questions will reveal the truth of a man's heart. Questions reveal where you are going to. When I go to a church, I ask for the vision of the church. I don't want to just come and go and become like truly we are sheep there. We are sheep to the master. I'm not sheep to my pastor. I'm sheep to the master. I can be a servant. I'm a servant to my pastor, but I'm not sheep to them. I won't follow blindly. I'm sheep to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. When God gives a command, I obey without asking, except if I want to clarify how it shall be. You see, this is one of the differences between I call it one of the differences between the Gentiles and the Jews. The Jews understand the importance of questions. You realize that when, Saul, when Jesus appeared to Saul, he asked two questions. One, who are you, Lord? It is a question of identity. Because you see, Lord, I have had this identity being a Pharisee of Pharisees, a lawyer, a Jew or amongst Jews, and now I want to shift my identity. But I can't shift it except I know who I am giving it to. So who are you, Lord? Because my identity is tied to you. Who are you, Lord? A question about identity. The second question is, what must I do? Oh, it's a question of function, a question of direction, a question of purpose. What must I do? Jews know the importance of questions. Their life is built around prompters. How do things work? But the Gentile, most of us haven't caught this. So my purpose today is to encourage you to ask questions. Don't follow. If the pastor says it as nice as it sounds, take it back to the master. Take it back to the Bible. Take the idea back to the Bible and ask a question. Is this all about the concept? If you can't think of anything, ask the why, what is he talking about? Why is he talking about it? What other options are there? Is it true based on the scripture? Your mind will begin to ponder and look at the different facets concerning the subject matter. And so I've come today to encourage you. Don't let down your guard. Don't throw away your curiosity because you are built on faith. Faith also demands asking questions. Faith demands knowing more. Faith, in fact, God encourages us to ask questions. So today, I encourage you, ask Christians. God bless you. This is Dr. Calypso here.